my shoulders hurt, my elbows hurt, so to be able to carry this around in the bush. Stihl MS170 from Stihl. It's the lowest end, sort of just a, I don't even know what classification you'd put that in, but thought I'd talk about it because this puppy here I've had for more than a decade, probably 12 years at least. And after 12 years of use with this, I firmly believe that, you know, if you're not doing a huge amount of cutting of large trees, you know, at $250 or something like that, I don't think you can really go wrong with one of these suckers. Like I said, I've had it for over a decade, and while the handle's starting to come off, you can see down there, I've actually reconnected it with a wire. The chain brake is broken over on this side. I've got to fix that. I'll get a replacement for that perhaps, but really, you know, it's starting to leak a little bit around here. But I haven't done any tune-ups on this sucker in that 12 years. I haven't done anything to the carb. I haven't cleaned the carb. Same plug that's been in it the whole time. Same bar. I haven't damaged the bar. The exhaust is all fine. And as you just saw, it's working just great. So I do keep it stored out of the elements, and I do clean it regularly in terms of getting all the, you know, taking the bar off and everything, cleaning all that up. But other than that, there's another damage here from something, I don't know what it was that did that, but you know, the case is cracked. I thought it was going to leak oil, but it cracked above the oil reservoir, so it never had any actual problems with it. I think I dropped something on it. I don't recall. Oh, it might have been that I had it up in a, maybe it was when I had it in a tree. I might have dropped it out of a tree. I don't remember how I did the damage on it, but yeah, so I know they get a bad rap, and there's nobody out there that's a professional who's going to agree with anything that I have to say here. They're just going to say it's total crap, don't waste your money on it. It's all plastic, like the body's all plastic. But for the past, you know, 12 years or 15, whatever it is that I've owned this sucker, I've cut a lot of trees. I've done a lot of limbing, I've done a lot of climbing with it, and it's never let me down. And like I said, I have had to adjust the carburetor a little bit, so I have done something. I've done some little adjustments on the carburetor, and as you can see, you know, I've never had a chainsaw that started that nicely for me. So this is really nice, especially when I'm up in a tree, because like when you're hanging off a tree position. Oh, that is one thing that's going on. If I'm too gentle with the off switch, it doesn't shut off. So there are some things that I guess you could argue that aren't safe about this, but it's mine. I know the problems with it, so it's not really an issue for me. But getting back to the amount of use that this thing has gotten in that 12-15 years, I provide all of my own firewood. I have a sawmill, and I climb trees. If you're just sort of a homesteader and you're looking on a budget that you want to be able to provide firewood, I've done some 20-inch maples, like hard maples, with this, and you know, you just have to go from both sides, but still it's definitely doable, and it takes a little bit longer, but it burns less fuel. than the bigger saws. It's not as heavy as the bigger saws. I used to use the 660, and I did all my limbing and everything with it because I just didn't want to carry two saws, and when I was cut the tree down, I didn't want to go back to get the other saw. And so yeah, I got big and strong one year because I was carrying that 660 around and, you know, limbing and cutting stuff above my head. So it was all great because, well, I was younger. I'm not so young anymore, and my shoulders hurt, my elbows hurt, my wrists are getting sore. There's just, you know, I've got some issues with inflammation and whatnot. So to be able to carry this around in the bush, you know, like, you're not doing that with the 660. At least I'm not doing that with the 660. I don't know if I ever could. I'm certainly not doing it now. But you know, to do all my limbing now that this is down, I can just head out there and do all the limbing. I don't have to go back to the tractor or go back, take the bigger saw back and bring the limbing saw out. Chains are cheap. The bars, replacement bars are cheap. You can get a little bit longer one if you're doing, so I don't know why you would want a longer one. You can get shorter ones as well, and then it'll work a little, it'll cut a little better, I guess, because the chain speed will be a little faster. You know, when you go online and you see all these chainsaw guys importing their saws and all these things, that's all well and good for people that are really into that. For the average person, it's really not necessary. Most saws for the average homeowner or homesteader or farmsteader or person who is, you know, they've got a bit of bush lot and they're doing a little bit of work. You could go a little bit bigger, it'll cut faster, but you are going to burn some more fuel. You are going to go through more bar oil. You are going to pay more for the thing up front. You know, for the next saw up on this, you know, you're more than twice the price of this thing. So you can buy two of these for the price of one of those. I can buy a lot of chains, I can put a lot of fuel, a lot of oil into this, and really I've got time. So I don't have to rip through the tree as quickly as possible. There are some trees that obviously the way the tree's grown or going to fall or whatever conditions it is, the bigger saw is definitely a necessity at times because you do have to be able to make your cuts quicker. I just bought an Echo 540, the Timberwolf. Can't remember the size of it. I did a review on that as well. Again, not a commercial saw. I've just decided that I don't saw as much. I don't cut as much, so I don't really have as much use for those bigger saws and the commercial saws. So I can save myself a few bucks. So the Timberwolf was, you know, half to 3/4 of the price of replacing my 660. So I'll finish out by showing you a quick cut through this stump down here, and you'll get to see this sucker cutting. It's about a 14-inch diameter on this tree. It's cherry, so it's a decently hard wood. If you're patient with it, and you got to make sure you keep a clean, sharp chain on it. It does, as you can see, you know, it's a very small chain, right? Like, it's not cutting big pieces of it's not cutting big wood chips out of there at all. But you can save a lot of money, and if this thing breaks down, like if this thing, something really happens, or if I drop it in the tree and it breaks completely, or I run over it with my tractor, you know, $250, don't want to lose that, but still to replace it for that price, you know, it'll cost that much if you don't repair your own chainsaws. That if one of your bigger ones, like I have a 660 as well. I'm not quite as old as this, but I'm getting there. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It's just my 2 cents. And for For the record, the chain that I'm using right now has done an awful lot of cutting over the past couple of weeks. It's been cutting through cedar and dry dead wood on apple trees and birch trees. I've been late getting my firewood, so I've been doing a lot of cutting with this thing over the past few weeks. And I've sharpened this chain a couple of times, but the last time I sharpened it, since I sharpened it last, I've cut a whole bunch of cedars, which are just dirty trees, all kinds of dirt in the bark. Some maples, a bunch of dead limbs off of, like decent sized dead limbs off of apple trees, and some spruce and whatnot, but I've been cutting down near the bottom, so it's not a sharp chain right now. You know, it's not too bad, but could definitely be sharper, and it's still cut pretty good. So like I said, you're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna disagree with this, but they're a different breed, right? They're really into the power and the speed, and it's almost like a sport for those people. Me, I just want a tool to get the trees down, and I don't want to kill myself, you know, with my body. I don't want to break myself anymore, and I don't want to spend a lot of money. So when this sucker dies, I'm just gonna get another one. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was beneficial on some level and might be helpful. I guess at the end of the day, you just gotta remind yourself that you don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You don't have to do things the way people are telling you to do things. You know, oh no, you can't cut that kind of tree. If you want to do any logging of any kind, you got to get the big saw, you got to get this saw and that saw. They got to be a commercial grade saw. They all work as long as you've got a good one. I'd stay away from the non-brand names. Like when you're getting into those saws that you pick up at, you know, Walmart or Canadian Tire or the Home Depot, mind you, that's where I got my Echo. But some of the lower end saws like this, they're not worth it. I've had a bunch of those, and you can kill those real fast. But when you go with a company like Stihl, even their cheap saws, they do a good job on them. You know, they've got a reputation to uphold, so they don't need even their bad saws, or not bad saws, but their low end saws, bringing down the reputation for their commercial saws. Whereas with the Echo, if I went between the Timberwolf and the commercial grade one, which are basically the same saw, there's a big difference. Like the Echo is not, it's not even like, I think this is a better saw. I grab this more often than I grab the Echo. I only grab the Echo if I really need it. It's a little bit heavier and it pulls, it does cut really well. Firewood, I'll just sit there all day long with the Echo when I'm blocking my logs into firewood. But I'm rambling now, so yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that as far as my review. Stihl MS170, I definitely recommend them. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care. Cheers.